Hi, I'm Rodney Toy, and I'm one of the executive board members of Art in Action, and welcome to Epicurean Artistry. Today, I'm very privileged to welcome two very special guests of our event, Melissa Mahoney, who is a fine artist based in the Bay Area, and Chef Greg Kuzia-Carmel, chef and owner of Camper Restaurant in Menlo Park. So painting and cooking for me are two things that I really enjoy doing when I can find time to do them. So I'm really excited to take a few minutes to discuss their approach and their methods and their creative process they undertake to create their masterpieces. So with that, Chef Greg, Melissa, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, great to have you. Why don't we start with what was your path for becoming an artist and a chef, respectively, that you guys are today?
Sure. My mother and my grandparents were both artists. They were all artists. They went to Art Institute of Chicago. And so my mom raised me as an artist, and it was kind of a babysitting tool. She'd just tell me go draw, but it became a passion of mine. So
that's great. How about you, Greg?
I originally started out working in restaurants as a kind of a means to an end when I was in high school. Just kind of kid who wanted to buy the first car, and it slowly became something that fulfilled a lot of different emotional and needs in my life, and I kind of began it as a craftsmanship pursuit and have followed it as a kind of a passport to get around the world and eat really well and meet cool people.
It's not a bad lifestyle for sure. What I'm sure your paths to your careers haven't been perfectly smooth. What are some of the challenges that you guys have run into as you've sort of pursued your dreams, and how'd you overcome them?
The challenges of this is simply one of the hardest industries you could imagine. I've had a few very quirky personal challenges. I was at a restaurant in Europe that actually, burnt to the ground.
Wow.
I was at a restaurant in New York City that was conquered by flood. And it's fascinating right now that we're in this period because I'm in my own restaurant and we are battling and succeeding in our battle against the global pandemic. But outside of that, the normal challenges of attrition and just being plain dogged, ambitious with no sense of an empty tank has been what's kind of gotten me through.
Yeah. How about you, Melissa?
Similar in the way of the empty tank. Like I have too many ideas and start down too many paths and start too many products and projects. And it's kind of learning to focus has been a challenge. So I'm starting to get that a little better. And my motto this year is think big, paint big. So I'm just wanting to be bolder with what I'm doing. I've got an artist in residency this summer at Cubberley in Palo Alto, which I'm excited about. And I'm going to paint really big there. I've got somebody making a 6 foot tall handmade brush for me. So I'm just,
wow.
You'll have to come visit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I enjoy, when I paint, I like to do the bigger the canvas, the better for sure. If I had my choice, I would try to paint on the side of freeways and on the walls, but don't need to get thrown in jail at this age. So
I hear you.
So art and cooking, like I said, are two of my personal passions. I've learned over the years that I get to draw on this creative side of me, which I didn't use very much in my professional career. So, and I find I do that whether I'm painting on a canvas or creating a dish. So maybe Chef Greg, I'll start with you. How does cooking trigger your artistic side? And do you feel like that's an important component of the process for you?
Well, there's the old adage that we eat first with our eyes, and that as, kind of the person who comes to the table to, apply their craftsmanship or creativity to kind of this bevy of ingredients and raw materials. It's a very kind of emotional process where you are constantly looking for things that pique your interest or, captivating, and trying to figure out some kind of harmonious, application of them and synergy. It takes a long time, I think, to kind of figure out how to do that in a way that's digestible, both literally and figuratively, to, an end consumer or a guest. but as you kind of figure out that process, it's very much like any of the other, arts fields. You start to get a better understanding of like what makes people kind of gravitate or attracted to, your certain style of creativity.
Now, Melissa, I know you have a passion for both cooking and painting. And in fact, you've painted a series of paintings inspired by Chef Greg's dishes. So how do you see the parallels?
I agree with Chef Greg that he sees food first by, you taste food by sight, but my paintings, you experience them through multiple senses. It's called synesthesia, when you might transpose senses. Like this painting is inspired by Chef Greg Vietnamese banh mi. It has the sense of the umami flavors of the pork and some of the acidic flavors of the vinegar and the spices. And I feel like you can taste it and feel it when you look at the painting. So transposing your senses with taste and visual.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about that creative process a little bit, Melissa. Like, how do you go from coming up with a theme or inspiration for a series of paintings? Like, how do you come about that? And does it tend to be kind of well planned out and structured? You know what you're going to do, or is it more of a kind of imaginative, organic process?
It's definitely organic, and I think I have almost too many ideas, and I'll come up with one painting, and then if I'm excited about it, I'll kind of do a series. So with this one, I wanted to do a series. I was eating at Camper in Menlo Park and just kept returning and I even painted cocktail inspired paintings and a dessert and did some sculpture. So if I'm excited about one painting, I'll kind of build out the series.
Very cool. That is a testament, Chef Greg, to your food. If it inspired Melissa to do a complete series of paintings. So, and you guys have kind of both spoken to this a little bit, but like specifically, are there things that you want your audience or your patrons to take away from experiencing one of your creations? Is there something like you want them to leave with?
Yeah. I mean, like when we eat things, we always ask ourselves, are we satisfied? Does this, kind of fulfill the five basic things that most people gravitate towards or, identify with in terms of flavor: salty, bitter, sweet, sour, and an element of umami. We try to, tune those things, if you will. But we also like to think, does having eaten this have some kind of, does it feel fulfilling? And, it doesn't necessarily need to be something that, makes you stuffed, but it's satiating.
How about you, Melissa?
Yeah, with my art, the beauty of abstract, I think, versus literal subject painting is to push people to feel an emotion. So I want my paintings to be evocative, whether it makes you feel bold or calm or energized. The viewer can come to the painting and interpret how they like, and then take that energy with them. I like that transfer of my energy to the canvas and then the canvas to the viewer.
Very cool. So lastly, what advice would you guys give aspiring chefs and artists, or maybe said another way, what advice would you give your younger self if you were to go back in time?
I'll give you a start. I would say make mistakes, test yourself, try things, be get outside of your comfort zone, as often as you can, and take risks that are manageable. I think kind of outside of our safety nets is where we do our biggest growth, and the things that, at least for me personally, have been the most substantial and fundamental in building me as a chef and as a person, more importantly, have been the kinds of things where you've got to kind of wing it and live outside of your safety boundaries.
That's great advice. How about you, Melissa?
I agree. I wish I had kind of gone bolder a little younger and taken bigger risks and thought bigger. So I'm happy I'm pivoting to do that now. And then another component, which I think is Chef Greg also does this, is find a way to give back with what you do. And that's why I love Art in Action so much. It's share your love for the craft and share it with people that are maybe underserved, and connect with other people that way. And I know Chef Greg has mentored a school and done the same thing with his cooking and cuisine. So
great stuff, guys. Melissa, Chef Greg, I can't thank you enough for your time today and sharing your creative process, and really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.